Harris the call, and you've seen them all over YouTube. I got Omi In A Hellcat in the building right now. How you doing?
I'm doing good in yourself.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're here, you're a lawyer today.
Yes.
Dante Mills.
That's right.
So that means there's some things happening.
Yes.
What is going on?
So there's a lot of things happening. The one thing that we want to talk about here today is essentially the brilliance of Omi In A Hellcat here. A lot of people know him from YouTube. They know him from the cars. But what they don't know is he just has that mind that he's able to look at technology, look at where we're going, look at what moves people and gets people behind him, and he's able to capitalize off of that.
So for those who don't know, who is Omi In A Hellcat?
I'm an app developer first.
Okay.
YouTuber.
Okay.
Entrepreneur.
Okay. So you started on YouTube by doing what? Like, how did you start getting all the views?
No. So all the views came from the things that I was purchasing, like cars.
Got you. Okay.
I got into the car community, so it's not typical that somebody my race can get into this genre in YouTube and be successful at it.
Yeah, I was looking at your videos, and your car fleet is crazy. Like, you have everything.
well, that's why we're here.
Exactly.
It was crazy. He had everything. So he's an app developer first. He figured out streaming and how to be profitable, how to make money from streaming.
Okay.
He wasn't doing anything illegal, but he essentially took over an industry.
Okay.
He began to really make moves, really make a lot of noise in that field, and he made a lot of money from it.
Right.
Unfortunately, because of who he is, because of where he's from, there was an assumption that there's no way that he could be making this kind of money legally.
Right.
He has to be doing something wrong. So all of the wealth that he amassed, all of the cars that you saw in the YouTube videos that you're talking about now that were amazing, everything was taken from him.
Okay.
For no reason.
So to kind of give like a backstory on who you are and all the wealth and the cars and everything that you have, like kind of give people an image of it, because they're thinking, okay, maybe he has like a Benz and a Lexus, but no, we're talking like next level. I'm talking like 30 cars, like Lamborghini trucks, like kind of explain your lifestyle so people can kind of get to know you and know what we're talking about here.
What you mean, like explain my lifestyle?
Like right now, somebody's in the car listening to you, and they hear us talking about you, like you're this rich guy, and the feds came and seized your stuff, thinking that you were doing illegal activity. They're thinking it's the typical situation, right?
No, it's not typical at all.
Exactly. So I want to kind of like expand it more and let people know what's really going on here, who you really are. Like, what would they see on your YouTube?
Like, just on my YouTube is me just trying to uplift people. Remember, like before all this happened, I was an actual pizza delivery driver.
Okay.
So just. What a good idea, and I just started from nothing, and So like my lifestyle is really it's real simple. It's just the cars and the jewelry that I like.
Cars.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So besides that, I'm always giving back. Owned a bunch of properties and always gave. Remember, I had 30 employees before all this happened.
For your app, right?
No, not just for app, for construction.
Okay.
Because I have a big construction company.
Okay.
And essentially all these jobs are lost now because of this situation.
Wow. That's unfortunate.
But what you're asking about, and Omi's being modest right now, so I'll fill in the blanks a little bit. We're not talking about regular wealth. We're not talking about someone who just made a couple of dollars,
right?
Giving back to the community, or like you said, they purchased one Benz. And we're talking about multiple Lamborghinis, multiple Bentleys, essentially every car that you can think of in either 2019 or 2020.
Not only that, there's a lot of people who have money but don't have money. We're talking about millions of dollars seized, cash, liquid.
Wow.
So it ain't just cars. The cars I can get over, the millions of dollars in electronics. I mean, tablets were ripped out of my kids' hands. And I just had to, since November 20th till now, I had to literally rebuild everything back up. If you see my YouTube now, you see I'm buying cars again, but I'm doing this. But this is actually, when they're blaming me for doing something illegal, and I'm showing them right in front of their face that I can do it again,
right?
Without what they're blaming me to do, it just shows that I'm just good at what I do.
So how long have you been doing what you do?
I started in 2016.
Okay. So about 4 years.
And I became a millionaire in 2017.
Wow. So a year later.
Yeah, like 10 months later, because I started off in the middle of the year. Okay.
And now, when did all this start happening? When did the FBI?
I had no idea. I just came back from Dominican Republic, and they just came and took everything.
So this was in November of 2019.
Okay.
They showed up at his properties, and they began to seize everything. Like he said, bank accounts, we're talking with millions of dollars, liquid cash in the bank accounts. We're talking millions of dollars worth of cars, millions of dollars worth of property, millions of dollars worth of combination of jewelry, electronics, because he was in that YouTube sector. He had, computer equipment, camera equipment that was worth millions of dollars, and they simply seized everything. And that happened in November. They still haven't given him anything back. He hasn't been charged with anything. So there's no excuse for them to look at someone and say, we don't believe you should be successful, so we're going to take it all and not do anything about it.
So how are they able to do this without, if you have proof of income, how can they just come in and do this?
So the loophole is they can say we're investigating.
Okay.
And if they're investigating, if they put some charges forward and get a warrant and get a seizure warrant, they can take it.
Okay.
And essentially they can hold it until the investigation is done, but there is no legal timetable for an investigation. So it can go on forever. Now the problem that we have is they're going to focus their investigations on us. Right? I'll give you an example. Mark Cuban had the same type of streaming service. That's how he made his money. He sold the company and bought the Dallas Mavericks. At no point did he go under investigation. At no point did they say, why is this man able to amass so much wealth? Let's take everything and figure out what he's doing. But it happens to us. It happens to us all the time. And it's a problem because most people think they just have to live with it. So if, Omi could have been in a position where he just said, you know what, they took everything, I'll just let it go and move on. But why should you be required to move on from something that you've built and established the right way? Right.
So with this investigation going on, are you still able to operate your streaming company now? Or
no, I mean, essentially there's no law against it.
Okay.
But I'm the type of person that I like, if things happen in the past, I just move forward and do something different. So they even took the taste out of my mouth of even doing it ever again, honestly. And, and there's hundreds of companies right now who are still operating. If this was so illegal, then why aren't they shutting these companies down? It's so easy to, but I think they saw me and they just, hey, we got to shut him down.
When you say streaming, what exactly do you mean? Streaming what?
It's basically streaming TV channels.
Okay.
So there's no laws against it.
Okay.
Now, if I was streaming movies, other big cases, then I'll be looking at some jail time.
Right.
But there's nothing against, streaming television channels at all.
And essentially that's what happened. He went to an attorney. He made sure that what he doing did not cross any lines, that it was not illegal, that it fit within the law that's there right now. I will say that I guess the law kind of catches up later with technology. Technology moves faster than the law. So just in this area, there are no laws that cover what he was doing that said it was illegal, and he made sure of that. He began to build his empire. But it wasn't until really he started buying the cars and he had the YouTube channel where people were interested
in took notice, right?
That, of course, the feds look up and they see, wait, who is this guy? And like we said, we're not talking about someone buying one Mercedes-Benz. He has a whole fleet of vehicles, and they're looking, properties all over the place. He's doing things in the community. He's rebuilding houses in minority neighborhoods for less than cost where he's losing money on it. And they're looking and saying, how is he able to do this? He must be doing something illegal.
Okay, so they seized all your assets pretty much, but no charges have been filed. No, so you're kind of in limbo right now. Like, your stuff is just on.
Yeah, I got to just pick up the pieces and keep moving forward. It's basically what they're trying to make me do. But I don't know. They've been doing this to too many people too long,
Right.
Something has to change.
And the people that it happens to, it's us.
Right, absolutely,
and
yeah.
it just can't be okay, which is why we're here, because we're not afraid to challenge the FBI or the feds when they come in and say, we're going to take this, do our investigation, there's nothing you can do about it. That's just not true.
Right.
Now, most people in a situation, they hear the feds are circling around, so they retreat.
Right.
But we don't have to do that, and that's what I want to show. And that's why Omi is here speaking out, because we can't encourage our people to be whatever they want to be, and then they do that, they take over an industry, but then they get no benefit of doubt. That's just not right, and it's not how it should happen. We should all be outraged with that, because if we become successful at what we're doing, should we be looked at with the guilty eye just because of who we are, where we came from?
Right. So I was talking to a few of my coworkers before you came about, your YouTube and everything like that. And, they were saying how you had 30 cars, and they were kind of all this cul-de-sac, and there were even interviews and stuff on YouTube of your neighbors, doing interviews about you and who is this guy? So do you think that maybe your neighbors and people in the neighborhood maybe have anything to do with this?
No, I think it was just I was dipping in a certain company's money.
Okay.
So like I was giving the streaming service $15 a month.
Okay.
So Comcast wasn't thrilled about it.
Of course.
But there's people who can't afford cable.
Right.
There's people who can't afford it. So if I'm giving a service out that's legal for $15, and they're selling the same exact service for $250, who's the minority going to come to? If anything, I did more of a good thing than a bad thing by not even breaking the law. But that's just the way it is. This was more of a civil matter.
Okay.
Companies could have came, like the FBI had no reason. There's companies that could have came at me and told me, hey, you shouldn't be streaming.
Right.
Then it was more for that kind of case. It wasn't for this.
Okay.
It wasn't a criminal case.
And that's generally what happens. They send out cease and desist letters and say, hey, listen, we think that you're infringing on trademark or copyright or our material. We think you're infringing on that. Stop what you're doing.
Right.
None of that. He didn't get any of that.
Okay, so I know that you said that it's not illegal in this area. Is it illegal in any state?
No. These are federal laws.
Period.
Why the feds?
Okay.
These are federal laws that look at trademarks and copyrights. And what they say is you can't record channels and then replay it for people. You can't. There's certain.
Is this like a fire stick type of thing?
Essentially, that's where I started.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So it started with Cody and the movement, and I revolutionized it and changed it.
Okay.
And now you see it everywhere. I mean, we all know people who have these boxes or who stream these services.
Absolutely.
They're all over the place. And if you look at, there's a company in a different state that has commercials on television for the same thing. So you're telling me that there's a company that can put out commercials doing exactly what Omi was doing, but you seize all of his property because you think there's something wrong with his organization? It just doesn't add up.
So what's next at this point? Is there like a court date, or is it just like you're just kind of in limbo just waiting to see?
So we don't just wait.
Okay.
It's just not, there's no point to that.
Right.
Because it's not right for them to take everything that he has and just sit on it. So what we did is we filed a motion to get all of his property back.
Okay. And what's the process on that?
So they have to respond to our motion, and in their response, they have to let us know if they have a case, what they're basing this on. We really just want to have a full understanding of why have you decided to affect this man's life?
Right.
Why have you decided to affect his business? And if you can't give us a valid reason for that, that says you were operating illegally in this capacity, then give him his stuff back. We're demanding that.
Right. So I want you to kind of speak about the things that you are doing for the community. Like I know you did something with the Salvation Army Center in Philly as well.
Actually, right before this happened, I was actually buying one.
Wow.
So this place has been closed for over 10 years. And I'm like, you know what? I have an autistic son. So I was like, I'm going to name this place after my son. So, I put down a $40,000 deposit. So during the time this happened, I was supposed to finish paying off the building. So I was opening that 100% free, no money from the state, no government funding. It was just funded out of my pocket.
Wow.
So this place is going to be amazing. And they pretty much, them taking the funds just pretty much stopped everything.
Yeah.
Like I said, like everybody who I grew up with, over 30 people, had jobs within my neighborhood, just either working with me or around me or putting them in places, trying to take some dudes out of the streets and people who just came out of jail. So I've always done things like that.
Yeah.
And we're talking about multiple companies. I mean, specifically, I'll talk about his construction company where he did operate at a loss because he would go into our neighborhoods in the city in Philly, buy up houses, fix them up, but in a way that he's spending more to fix the money up than the property's worth because he didn't want people moving into a house that really wasn't fit or wasn't suitable that he wouldn't live in.
Right.
So he would fix up these houses and have affordable housing in our neighborhoods that was very nice, and he's operating at a loss just because those were things that he wanted to do. I mean, who buys a Salvation Army and opens it up in our neighborhood? It just doesn't happen. I mean, we all have community events and things like that, but he's buying buildings where our children can come in and gather and learn and be safe and in a safe environment. And this is the person that they decided to take everything from.
And I own a few banquet halls. So every time somebody dies, I let them do repassings on the weekdays for free. So this happened multiple times. I'm not going to charge somebody for mourning.
Wow.
So and then my business doesn't operate on the weekdays, so that just take it, just make sure you clean it up, bring it back. Just stuff like that.
And this all happened during the holiday season too. So your employees took a hit.
Everybody took a hit, but I've made some things happen. I pulled some strings and got them paid up.
Okay.
It just sucks that everybody had to lose their job. I only got 3 employees now.
And what did you have originally?
30 just here in Philadelphia. It's another 15, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, who I spread it out throughout.
Wow.
And there's one particular employee who had some medical services that they were going through. Let me tell me about that.
Yeah. So my secretary, her daughter, 2 years old, over 30 brain surgeries. And essentially like she's out of a job. So those are like certain people who I kept around now. So it sucks for everybody, honestly. The people don't realize the person who even washed my cars made $1,000 a week. So no one ever. Everybody made a lot of money.
Yeah. Yo, and not trying to get too much into your business or your pockets, but you said they seized everything. So when that happened in November, like, did you turn to YouTube then to start just recovering your funds?
I mean, that helped me a lot because I got some big construction jobs now. Who I made a ton of money this last like month and a half.
Okay.
And that right there is keeping me afloat. Okay. And right now I'm opening a printing company, which is like no lie, over $500,000 invested. So this is right here. This printing company it ain't to operate at a gain. Okay. But it's just to bring a few people back to work. Okay. So when I do things like this, it's just to bring people back to work. I'm opening a detail shop now. It's just to bring people back to work. That's all it is. So I'll eat off my YouTube and whatever money I make coming along because I don't know. Everything I touch is turned to gold for some reason. So I'm going to always be good. Right. But it's more about getting these people back to work.
But it's not for some reason. I don't want to minimize it. I mean, because we make heroes out of Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg, people like that who take over an industry and are very innovative. That's who Omi is. He's just innovative. He took over an entire industry and within 10 months made millions off of it. That's not normal. But he has that ability. And I think that we should celebrate our people who can do that, not look at them and say, he must be doing something criminal because there's no way he can be smart enough to figure out a legal way to do it. Yeah. That's just wrong. And that's the impression clearly that they have because there's no other reason for them to be coming after him.
That's a stereotype when you see, someone like us that has all these cars and Jordan, okay, he's not a ball player. He's not a rapper. Who is this guy?
And unfortunately, it's never your first mind isn't to say, oh, maybe he's a scientist. Exactly. Or maybe he's a doctor. Exactly. It's to say, oh, he must be moving some weight or he must be doing something, that's just illegal. Right. And that's the perception. And unfortunately, the FBI has it, the local police have it, but we have it about ourselves a lot. So if we let this to continue where whoever is successful, we allow them to come in and take everything from them, then the cycle is just going to continue. We got to stand up for our own and say, no, we're smart enough. We're innovative enough. We're creative enough to develop and take over industries. And when we do, leave us alone.
Yeah, but they've been investigating me for so long and listening for so long that if I've done something wrong, trust me, I wouldn't be sitting here with no charges. Right. They knew my life was going straight and narrow. I walked the lines perfectly fine. I've never given anyone a check for money or anything. You know what I'm saying? I just walked the straight line. So that's why they're like, they're trying to dig up and try to find something that's really not there. But, like I said, man, them dudes know what they're doing. They've been watching me and following me for a very long time. They know that I've done nothing wrong. Right. 100%.
Right. So what do you want to tell the city of Philadelphia and the entire tri-state about yourself?
Make sure you don't leave no windows open. And, no, seriously, if you're doing something wrong or anything, don't show nothing on Instagram or just be mindful. Pay your taxes. There you go.
Definitely, right?
Pay your taxes, yeah.
So when you say don't show nothing on Instagram, like, do you regret being as flashy or?
I don't really think I could have been a lot worse. Even if I showed the car, I've always gave people, hey, I was a pizza delivery driver. You could do it too. Right. So it was more of a motivation thing for me than hey, I got this car and you don't. You know what I mean? So to me, it's more of a, stay down till you come up. Like,
it shouldn't matter though. We shouldn't feel like we have to be afraid or be in hiding if we're smart enough to make wealth or to generate wealth. We shouldn't feel like we have to go in hiding or they're going to come after us. That just shouldn't be what we have to go through. We should be able to say, I'm going to develop and make this.
If I would have took my millions of dollars to LA, we wouldn't be having this issue right now. I would have blended in with everybody else. The fact that, I'm from Philadelphia and they see me, they're like, wait a minute, this is the richest guy in the city. He has to be selling drugs. It kind of sucks. Because everything that I've done good in Philly, I've never pulled out a camera to show anybody. I keep that close to my heart. There's people who go out and feed the homeless just to show it on camera. Right. I don't do that. You know what I mean? So that's why when they came, everybody's like, what the hell's going on? But like I said, like if I would have ran and hid with my money, then it would have been an issue. Right. It wouldn't have been an issue.
Wow, this is a lot. I mean, I've learned so much today because I knew a little bit about you, but just finding out, every little detail today is really eye opening.
And the crazy part was that I try to hide, the target and 1080p, the developer, when I got onto YouTube as Omi In A Hellcat. So I try to hide that. It wasn't I was trying to hide it. I was just trying to move past it. Because what they don't tell you is that this app, I wasn't even a part of for the last 2 years. I was just collecting my money. So like it's just certain things,
Right.
And it came back to haunt me. So I'm actually happy that it happened.
Okay.
Because I get to move forward. I'm a lot smarter from this whole situation.
Right.
And it is what it is.
Right. So you're gonna continue to fight this, and good luck on everything.
Thank you.
And keep doing your thing and giving back to the community. When you do good, like you'll be good.
Yeah, and we are going to continue to fight it. We want them to release all of his property, but we also want to show people that you should be trying to be creative, be innovative, and you're not going to be punished for that.
Right.
So we want that to be the understanding, and for people to also know that there's people who are they're backing you, they believe in you, they believe that just because you're successful doesn't mean that you're doing something illegal, and people that know that you shouldn't be looked at that way.
Right. So can you let us know your social media, your YouTube, and all that?
Yes, on YouTube I'm Omi In A Hellcat, and then on Instagram I'm Omi In A Hellcat, all underscores in between each letter.
There it is, Omi In A Hellcat. Dante, thank you so much for stopping by today.
Thank you very much for having us.
It's HipHop 1039.